So let's see what you've got. Most of those students said, we have nothing. We didn't prepare, we didn't take advantage. And the ones that had an opportunity to make their F into a C or their C into an A, gave them that opportunity. Did not take it, did not avail that opportunity. But there are those students that had B's, right? They're doing well. But they knew that they could do better. The B students, all of them took advantage of that extra credit and they all got A's. So the ones that were failing did not even try. And the ones that were doing okay took advantage of that opportunity and they perfected their grade. And this is similar to what we see in Ramadan, right? The people who they're doing okay, right? They see the advantage of these winds of mercy that Rasulullah is telling us about. And they take advantage of those winds of mercy and they perfect themselves to the point where they truly benefit from the month of Ramadan. Now, we want to take everyone with us, right? We don't ignore anyone. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has brought that threshold so low as to increase the numbers of the people that benefit. And that's why in this blessed month, the doors to paradise are open. The doors to Jahannam are closed. The shayateen are chained. So those that instill or whisper or inspire us to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they won't have that influence over us. But our nafs, our base desires, our bad habits that we cultivate for 11 months, those are still with us. And that's why sometimes people ask, Imam, if the shaitans are locked up, why do people still sin? Why are Muslims still doing all these horrible things in the month of Ramadan? Because the shayateen are locked up, but we're not locked up. We still have tendencies. We still have bad habits. And that's what we need to work on. And this is that month that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you that opportunity. But you have to take advantage of these opportunities. And this is why I recited that for man is nothing except what they strive for. لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. You have to strive for something to achieve success. Even when it came to rizq, bounty, Allah promised rizq for all His servants, right? This is part of our decree, our destiny. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to provide for us. When the verse was revealed in regards to this, some of the Sahaba stayed home, closed their doors, and they just did ibadah, they stopped working. Because they assumed that rizq was going to come. And when the Prophet ﷺ was notified about this, the Prophet said, no, this is not what this means. Go out and work. And then what you get, that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's favor on you. It was never a culture of being lazy, complacent, indifferent. And if those are qualities that kind of resonate with you, or those are things that you see that you're struggling with, then remember that Allah's mercy in this month that's coming is such that even for those people, Allah has made it easier for them. That threshold has been lowered to the point where everyone can benefit. But the attention to detail, the commitment, the motivation has to be there. And we have great examples of Sahaba, right? We had examples of these people that they took all these opportunities seriously and they wouldn't even let a single opportunity slip. There's one Sahabi who mentions that for 50 years he was Muslim. For 50 years, he says, it was a high number. 50 years, he says that I joined every salah in Jama'ah with the first takbir. That I never missed the first takbir. He said for 50 years, and this was a wealthy companion of the Prophet ﷺ. So it wasn't even that his business suffered or his other worldly responsibilities suffered, that he was in the masjid 5 times a day praying with the Jama'ah. No. He was blessed with that opportunity. He took advantage of it. And he said that I never saw in salah another man's back. Meaning not just the Takbir al-Ula, but he would be in the first saf. He would be the first one there, not behind someone or late, or worse, in our situation where we completely miss the prayer. So it's not that, look, that's a standard that's unattainable. It's the passion, right? It's the commitment that we have to recognize. When a person is committed, you see the amount of work they put into their lives. And you see this with stars, with athletes, with celebrities, with famous personalities that have become famous because of a certain accomplishment in their lives. The amount of work that goes into something that they committed themselves to. It's about direction. You'll see that how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards them for their hard work. This is not a religion that ignores. We believe in destiny, but we don't ignore the value of hard work. We don't ignore the importance of putting effort into your deeds, of trying your best and taking advantage of everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us when it comes to these chances of mercy, these winds of mercy, these opportunities of mercy. So you do it in such a way where you gradually, with time, get to the point where it becomes part of your norm. And this is some advice that we need to take before we go into the month of Ramadan. Because sometimes what happens is we jump into Ramadan and we burn out real quick. And we kind of waste those days in the middle. And then when we hear, oh, Khatam is around the corner, and then we start picking up again, start focusing on things, especially the special nights in the end of the month. But in between, even that is Ramadan. Remember, the whole month of Ramadan is Rahma. Every night is better than any night outside of the month of Ramadan. It's not just the special nights in the end, the last 10 days. That's something we have to be very cognizant of. That don't waste the opportunities in the middle of the month thinking that you'll get the ones in the end. Don't make that calculation. Don't make that strategy based on laziness. Based on seeing what you have in front of you and then saying, I don't want this, maybe I'll try to get this instead. Don't play that game. There's a Sahabi of the Prophet ﷺ who came to Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha, and he was talking about a business deal or a caravan or something that was coming for trade. But he was so wealthy, he said, you know what, I'm not going to take part in that. And Hazrat Aisha reminded him that the Prophet ﷺ had said something along the lines of, when the rizq is coming your way, don't reject it. When money is coming your way, don't say no to it. So even though he had that opportunity that was coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Hazrat Aisha reminded him that this is rizq from Allah, this is a blessing from Allah, don't say no. So then he took part in that. He took part in that caravan, he sent his traders, he had people that were working for him, and he made more money. So money in itself, or these, and I'm not talking about in terms of money, I'm talking about in terms of opportunities, whether it's education, whether it's your wealth, and whether it's your ibadah. All of these opportunities should never be taken lightly because this is who you become. And that's the whole point of Ramadan. Ramadan is not a one-time thing and then you go back to who you were. No, it's about becoming that person who you nourish, who you cultivate. And you, a reminder for all of us that as we go into the blessed month of Ramadan, the goal should be, don't burn yourself out. Be gradual, be deliberate, understand these opportunities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, and go in with the mindset that when you come out after Eid, that there's going to be things that you're going to continue throughout your life. And if Ramadan has transformed you in that way, then that is a true successful Ramadan. But if you come out and now, and I tell you from experience, because growing up, I remember we had friends and we had colleagues. A lot of the partying, a lot of the stuff that would happen in the name of Eid parties was not appropriate for Ramadan, let alone for Muslims, right? So a lot of that stuff they would say like, "Yo, it's outside of Ramadan. Now we can do this stuff. Now we're finally free." So it wasn't that the shayateen was made free. It was like people were made free after Ramadan, after Eid. So if that's the mindset, then you kind of missed out. Don't let that be your situation. When you go into Ramadan, and it's a very temporary thing, and in your mind it's temporary, what's the benefit of that? It's not temporary. It's not just a moment in time. And then you're going to revert back to what you were doing before Ramadan. This is an opportunity to go up, to step up, to achieve a higher level of iman and worship. And having this conversation with other people, a lot of times what happens is there's a very cultural understanding of what Islam is. And sometimes that cultural understanding, which has good parts to it, I'm not saying it's bad, like feeding people, coming together, the social aspect of it, that's good, that's fine. But that's not the only thing. Remember, Ramadan is an obligation. It's worship. This is a part of our religion, one of the pillars of our religion. Don't look at it simply as iftar parties and gifts and decorations. But if you're to do that, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But that in itself is not the objective of Ramadan. The objective of Ramadan is taqwa. The objective of Ramadan is a spiritual elevation, transformation. The objective of Ramadan is to break away from bad habits so that you come out on the other side a better Muslim. And how do you do that? By disciplining yourself. If you're able to give up the halal for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you will be able to give up the haram. And you can evaluate yourselves now. What are those bad habits? What are those haram things? What are those things that are taking away, sapping your energy and your time and your efforts, taking away from being productive, taking away from being beneficial to others? What are those things that you want to stop? You know it's not in your best interest. Those are the things that if you come out after Ramadan and you are in a better place, then there is success. So put in the effort, try your best to increase your ibadah, and there's nothing better than the obligations. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. This is how we get close. Sometimes we ignore all the important stuff and we go to the secondary, tertiary, other smaller issues and think that this is something that will get us closer to Allah. And yet we deny the prayers. We deny the right that the poor have over our wealth when it comes to zakat. We deny our responsibilities when it comes to our families and kin and all these other things that are necessary. You start with the obligations and then you add on extra. You add on to the point where you are now satisfied. And for a believer, there is no satisfaction except the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
It's not temporary. It's worship.
I agree. Now Allah make it easy for us and make it something that's sustainable. So go in with that mindset. What is a sustainable Ramadan? How can you take part in this Ramadan where you can carry forward all of the good that you're doing in the month of Ramadan? Now it's not going to be the same. We understand that. But even if you're able to take one thing from the month of Ramadan, one good habit, and I would recommend, and we mentioned this in the past, is read the translation of the Quran. Start reading the Quran, like actually start connecting with the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the month we get closer and we listen to the Quran in Tarawih, and hopefully we're reciting, but also start reading the translation. Arabic is not your main language, and even if it is, you still need to understand it. Start working on that first. And if you're able to carry that after Ramadan, where continuously every day you're reading the translation, alhamdulillah. And if you've already read the translation, amazing. Start reciting Surah Yasin every day. Start reciting Surah Mulk before you go to sleep every night. Add something that you can carry forward. Imagine every Ramadan, since you hit puberty, if you were to add one good habit, how changed of a person we would be old. How many Ramadans have passed, especially for those of us that are adults, right? We have children, we're in the middle or the later part of our lives. Imagine how different our life would be if every Ramadan had given us one gift. Forgiveness, mercy, and salvation. All of these things are inside Ramadan. All of these things, inshallah, we're going to benefit. May we attain the blessed night of Laylatul Qadr, better than 1,000 months. May we attain all these opportunities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. May we attain the listening. We're very honored that our Hafiz who's going to lead the Tawheed has already come. He's here. And inshallah, we're going to have Tawheed here every night. So we're very blessed that we're going to have an opportunity to listen and to understand the Quran. We're very blessed that we're going to be able to feed each other, sponsor iftars, feeding the homeless. We're going to do so many great things. But it should not stop after Eid. After Eid is not freedom for us. Right? After Eid is a sadness, is a sorrow. And this is what I was talking about earlier, right? The cultural Ramadan experience and the religious Ramadan experience. So how can you tell the difference? What is it for you? Is it a cultural thing or is it a religious obligation? Is it a pillar of your faith? And generally you can tell, even though Eid is a day of happiness and joy, and we will celebrate, but for many people, the sadness, the sorrow of missing Ramadan, that Ramadan is leaving, and we don't know if we're going to get another Ramadan, that's the testament to whether a person is culturally connected to Ramadan or religiously connected. Because for some people, Ramadan is nothing. It's just the ramp up to Eid. And that's a problem. That's how you know it's a cultural thing, and it's not really a religious thing. So don't let Ramadan just be this cultural thing. Let it be more than that. This is a connection between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So make a plan, include Tarawih in your plan, include Jum'ah in your plan, start with the obligations, increase your prayers. If that means that you have to talk to your boss and find a place where you can pray Dhuhr or Asr at work, then maybe that's something that you can continue after Ramadan as well. There's so many things that you can work on right now. And with that special attention and energy and blessings of Ramadan, there's a lot of good you can accomplish that will benefit you afterwards. So make a plan right now so that you can increase your recitation, you can increase your istighfar, your salawat, your azkar, and all other things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has in store for us. And this is the tawfiq of Allah. Allah has blessed us. But make that intention so that we truly benefit, that this becomes an accomplishment and not a burden. For some, it becomes a burden, and that's not what we're looking for. Because this being is never meant to be a burden. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has honored us by making us Muslim. Allah has honored us by giving us Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put us in there's special days where it's mentioned that the best of nights, the best of months is Ramadan, the best days is Jumu'ah, and then the best of cities is Mecca. And like there's all these things that we know that they're special, right? That there's a value to it. So either we're coming off of it or we're getting closer to it. So it's something that comes in cycles. And this is the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if you value it, if you give it the relevancy that it deserves, you're going to benefit from it. Every person doesn't value the same thing the same way. For instance, if a person is depressed and you ask them, what's the value of your breath? They're going to say nothing. If a person has asthma, like me, right? It's pollen season, and you ask them, what's the value of your breath? And they'll say, okay, it's very valuable. I would pay thousands of dollars if I can, breathe properly in allergy season. But if you ask someone who's in his deathbed, what's the value of his breath? He would give everything he ever earned in his whole life. So it's all relative. So for you, when Ramadan comes around, understand that these are relatively the best moments in your life. Don't treat it like any other day or any other time or any other situation. Because if that's the case, then we kind of missed out. And we don't want to miss out. And we want to put in that effort. Because that effort is what is going to lead to your success. And this is the rule, this is the principle that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has established for us. So I pray that Allah makes it easy for all of us to strive towards achievement and success and blessings and elevation, and that Allah makes us from the people of Iman, both in this life and also the people of success in the next life. Please pray yourself. السلام عليكم. الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الحمد لله الذي فضل سيدنا مولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم على العالمين جميعا، وأقامه يوم القيامة للمذنبين شفيعا، وعلى كل من هو محبوب ومرضي لديه صلاة تبقى بدون بدوام الملك الحي القيوم. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن سيدنا مولانا محمد عبده ورسوله بالهدى وبالحق أرسله. أما بعد، فيا المؤمنون رحمنا ورحمكم الله تعالى، أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل في السر والإعلان، فإن التقوى سنام الإيمان. واذكروا الله عند كل شجر وحجر، واعلموا أن الله بما تعملون بصير، وأن الله ليس بغافل عما تعملون. فإن السنن هي الأنوار، وزينوا قلوبكم بحب هذا النبي الكريم عليه وعلى آله أفضل الصلاة والتسليم. فإن الحب والإيمان كله ألا لا إيمان لمن لا محبة له، ألا لا إيمان لمن لا محبة له، ألا لا إيمان لمن لا محبة له. رزقنا الله تعالى وإياكم حب حبيبه هذا النبي الكريم عليه وعلى آله أفضل الصلاة والتسليم كما يحب ربنا ويرضى. فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره، ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره. بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن العظيم، ونفعنا وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم، إنه تعالى ملك كريم جواد رؤوف رحيم. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين والمؤمنات، إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور انفسنا ومن سيئات اعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له نشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد ان سيدنا مولانا محمد عبده ورسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ارسله لا سيما على اولهم بالتصديق وافضلهم بالتحقيق القول الايمان الصديق امير المؤمنين سيدنا مولانا الامام ابي بكر الصديق رضي الله تعالى عنه وعلى اعدل الاصحاب مزين المحور والمحراب الموافق رايه بالوحي والكتاب سيدنا مولانا الامام امير المؤمنين وغير المنافقين وامام المجاهدين رب العالمين ابي حفص عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى عنه وعلى جامع القران كامل الحياء والايمان سيدنا مولانا الامام امير المؤمنين وامام الصديقين رب العالمين ابي عمر عثمان بن عفان رضي الله تعالى عنه وعلى اسد الله الغالب امام المشارق والمغارب سيدنا مولانا الامام امير المؤمنين وامام الواصلين الى رب العالمين ابي الحسن علي بن ابي طالب كرم الله تعالى وجهه الكريم وعلى سائر فرق الانصار والمهاجره وعلينا معهم يا اهل التقوى واهل المغفره اللهم انصر بنصرة سيدنا مولانا محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم ربنا يا مولانا واجعلنا منهم واخذل من قبل سيدنا مولانا محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم ربنا يا مولانا ولا تجعلنا منهم عباد الله رحمكم الله ان الله يامركم بالعدل والاحسان وايتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون وذكر الله تعالى اعلى واولى وجل وعز واعظم واكبر اقيم الصلاه.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين يا أيها الذين آمنوا اركعوا واسجدوا واعبدوا ربكم وافعلوا الخير لعلكم تفلحون وجاهدوا في الله حق جهاده هو اجتباكم وما جعل عليكم في الدين من حرج ملة أبيكم إبراهيم وسماكم المسلمين من قبل وفي هذا ليكون الرسول شهيدا عليكم وتكونوا شهداء على الناس فأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة واعتصموا بالله ومولاكم فنعم المولى ونعم النصير الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم كعصف مأكول. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Assalamu alaikum. A few announcements. Inshallah, tonight after we're going to make an announcement in regards to the first week, whether it's tonight or tomorrow night, the first fast, whether it's Saturday or Sunday. Inshallah, we're going to try our best to follow the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and do proper moon sighting. So there are testimonies. I believe there's already some announcements in other parts of the world, but we're going to wait for after Maghrib to make our announcement. And then inshallah, the month of blessings. We're honored that our Qari who's going to lead the Tarawih is already here. We're going to have a blessed month. And we need your support. There's going to be iftars. Alhamdulillah, before the month even started, the weekend is already booked. So we have Friday, Saturday, Sundays, iftars already fully sponsored. So if there was anyone else that was interested in doing that, maybe we can talk to some of the people that are sponsoring so you can maybe participate. But there will be other places where you can participate through Rahma Center, through other things in the blessed month of Ramadan. On Saturday, we're actually going to the men's shelter to feed the homeless. And if you're interested, you'd like to go, please reach out to Brother Jeff. I know there's limited space, so maybe if not this month, maybe inshallah the next month. Brother Jeff is our coordinator for volunteers. So if there's anyone that would like to volunteer at Rahma Center, whether it's iftars, the men's shelter, or other programs we'll have in the future, you can talk to Brother Jeff directly. And inshallah, we're striving that we become a full-fledged, purpose-built, permanent masjid in the future. That's the goal. So make dua for us in this blessed month of Ramadan that comes sooner than later, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to reach all the milestones, all the accomplishments we need to reach that stage. But it's not going to happen without you. And that's why on April 16th will be Rahma Center's fundraiser for our location, for what we're trying to accomplish, and we need your support. We need you to tell your family, your friends. All of that will go a long way in serving the Charlotte Muslim community. Allah give us success. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد نور الانوار وسر الاسرار وسيد الابرار. اللهم انت السلام وانت السلام تبارك يا ذا الجلال والاكرام. اللهم اعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم انا نسالك الجنه نعوذ بك من النار. اللهم لا سهل الا ما جعلته سهلا وانت تجعل الحزن اذا شئت سهلا. اللهم انك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. يا رب العالمين, shower special blessings upon everyone that came to Salat al-Jum'ah. Ya Ghaffar, Ya Ghaffar, Ya Ghaffar, forgive all of our sins. Ya Shafi, Ya Shafi, Ya Shafi, help all people that are sick and have asked for du'as. Ya Rabbi, give them strength, give them sihat, give them speedy recovery. Ya Rabbi, all of the Muslimin, Muslimat, Mu'minat that suffer throughout the world. Ya Rabbi, make it easy for them, make it easy for them, make it easy for them. Give us life of Islam, give us death of Iman. Ya Rabbi, make this lesson of Ramadan something that is in our favor and not something that is against us. Ya Rabbi, make it a month of transformation, a month of reward and ajr and blessings and rahmah. Ya Rabbi, make it easy for us, make it easy for us, make it easy for us. ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم وتب علينا انك انت التواب الرحيم. صلى الله تعالى على خلقه محمد وعلى اله وصحبه اجمعين برحمتك يا ارحم